Hello and welcome to my second weekend build video. Now, the first one was my silenced SMG from Halo 3 ODST. But as you can tell from the title of this video, I will actually be going over how I made the demon killing blade from Supernatural. Now, here's what the finished product looks like, and as you can see, it's got the necessary paint, stain, and shape on the handle. I've got the little handguard here, and of course the blade with the necessary carvings, ridges, and demonic runes. So yeah, let's jump right into it and see how I made this thing. The first thing you want to do in any replica prop build is you want to go online and get some source pictures and then sketch out the templates. So I'm right in the middle of doing that now, and I will update you once those are all finished and show you exactly what they look like. It's about 3 parts, like 3 separate pieces. There's the bone wood handle. It's not really clear which it is. The blade itself and the little handguard that comes in the middle of the two. So yeah, I'll update you once those are all sketched out. Yeah, there we go. I've got all the templates sketched out. There's the handle itself, the blade, and the little handguard. And as you can see here, I've left a little bit of this because I'm going to be drilling through here, so I can just slide that on up here. Then the rest of it will actually go into the blade, and then I'll drill down and connect it that way, then just saw off the top of the screw head, sand it down, and yeah, it should look pretty good. I actually ran out of space here, so this is probably going to be more like 5 inches instead of 3. You know, it might be longer, just depending on how much I think I might need just to keep it all stable. I think I'm going to make this out of 2x4. This is probably going to be a 1x4 piece, and then this is either going to be cut out with Masonite or Luan. I haven't exactly decided which one. I'll probably end up doing Masonite just because it won't splinter as much as Luan would. So yeah, we'll get these templates cut out, and I'll skip forward to the fabrication of it. Quick tip, what I've done here is I've gotten some packaging tape and cut out the template for the handguard. I've actually taped it to some cardstock, both on the front and in the back, and that'll just give me a little bit more stability when I go to cut this out and trace the design on wood. This graph paper itself is very flimsy, and that'll just make it so I could probably reuse these templates or maybe share them online or something. Though with the video I'm getting, you can probably just, you know, screenshot that, print it out, and then take the templates for yourself. So yeah, I don't really have to do that. So if you go ahead and use this method that I was using, you're going to notice that when you cut away with your X-Acto knife, scissors, whatever, the graph paper is going to come out from the cardstock. Now, you can take just the graph paper, or you can actually open it up a little bit by slicing this, both sides and the top and leaving the bottom. And then just, you know, drip a little super glue down there, smooth it out, and that way it'll have much more structure. There we have it. The templates are all cut out and taped together. Now all we have to do is transfer it to wood and shape it. The templates were traced out on wood, and I just cut them out with the jigsaw. Here we have the basic handle. As you can see, it's still very 2D, and then, you know, it's not rounded at all, but the little handguard actually came out much better than I expected, so I'm just about to sand the edges, clean them up a little bit, and make the handle much more rounded. So my hand is pretty shaky from sanding so much, but just using some 120 grit sandpaper, you can see how well that smoothed out the handguard. So now I'm going to be moving on to the handle to try to round that out. Using my Dremel, that's a much easier way to sand down wood.
And as you can see here, yeah, that's doing a much better job. It's looking incredibly clean. Now, I've only done one side. So you can see this backside is still very, very flat. And, from this angle, it almost looks like half a knife. But, yeah, once that side gets sanded down, I'll show you how the full handle looks.
Yeah, so the handle actually came out really well. As you can see here, it is much more shapely and actually looks like a handle. And as you can see, my hand's still shaky from using that Dremel so much. But I've got a little depth line there, and that's where the blade is going to slide in. I've also got one on the guard as well. So I'm going to go Dremel those out, and yeah, then all there is to do is a blade, staining, attaching, probably going to use some epoxy, and carving in the details of the demonic script on the blade, and sharpening the blade itself. Yeah, we'll just kind of play it by ear.
The slit for where the blade will insert has been cut out on both the handle and the little holder thing there. So now we just have to stain it.
So something kind of interesting I've found out is if you're going to be doing this, make sure that the wood stain that you use is fully dried before painting, because by the looks of it, the white paint is actually mixing with the stain and making it kind of a hybrid of the two up top. And it doesn't look too bad, but I'm definitely going to hit it with another coat after this sets. So that's just something kind of odd that I noticed. Keep that in mind. One thing I'm trying out right now is I noticed that the blade, it was still very wood-like. So to kind of get rid of some of those grooves, I've got it drying on top of my cologne now, because I am trying to actually seal it with super glue. And I haven't tried this before. I haven't heard of it. I'm just kind of, I don't know, for some reason it made sense in my head. So I've got about 3 layers. I just kind of smoothed over with my finger. If you keep it moving, it won't glue down immediately. So yeah, we'll see how those layers look. Hopefully I can sand it down a little to make it look much smoother. Then we will carve in the details and attach everything with some epoxy. So using super glue as a sealant actually worked really well. As you can see here, it's sealed up quite nicely. It's very smooth. And I've got the detail marks written down just using the template that I cut out. Next, all I need to do is, put where the demonic symbols are going and etch them out with my Dremel. I'm a little off book here because as you can see from the erased marks, this is half of the demonic symbols, and with this size, they almost reach the end of the design. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make them bigger and then just continue it on the other side. So that way it still has all the symbols, but you can read them a little bit more clearly. And yeah, it's not exact to the design, but I think it should still look pretty good. All right, there we go. It's been engraved on both sides. And unfortunately, this piece, as you can see, it's snapped off. So I've applied some super glue there, but hopefully that should fix itself once I apply the epoxy, and I'm moving on to that stage now. Then afterwards, I'll paint the blade and add a little more detailing, and this baby should be done. Alright, so I just got the first layer of paint done, and as you can see, it actually brings up the... Justin's doing something rude behind me.
No, I'm not. No, she did something.
What'd you do?
Nothing.
Okay. Anyway, it brings out the demonic runes pretty well. That just looks like a 1. Alright, well... There. Okay, I'm never going to unsee that. I'll update you when it's finished. You have anything to say, Alyssa? Okay. Josh? Sophie? All right, so I've just put the finishing touches on. As you can see, I actually mixed the silver that I used for the blade with a flat black, and I rubbed it into the little grooves there. And then, a little blood splatter just to, mix it up a little bit. Like, I found that the more detail you add, it really detracts from any minor blemishes you might have made through the fabrication process. So, yeah, with this little guy, I think that'll do it for this video. This took me less than a full day's work to make, and I'm really proud of how it came out. Thank you for joining me.